Hey, everybody. Glad you're here. I'm just going to get everything set up while we're waiting on other people to join in. In theory, you're all muted, but in case, you're worried about that, you can go ahead and mute yourself. You can also feel free to put your video on if you're so inclined, but I understand some of you may not be camera ready. So if you are more comfortable staying with no video, then that's completely fine. I'm going to get my presentation up and loaded and wait another minute or so before getting started. And I am assuming, because I have not seen any chats come through, that you can all hear me. If that is not the case, just let me know by typing into the chat. Again, you guys are all going to be muted. Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. I am happy to answer questions that you all have throughout the presentation, but it is kind of challenging to toggle between the chat and the keynote. And so if you type in a question and it takes me, I'll probably wait until I come to some sort of a stopping point and then go in and answer the questions that way, because it's just really challenging to toggle between for some reason. So it is 12:01. So let us get started. Thank you so much for joining me. All of this is all being recorded, and you will have access to the replay. So, don't feel like you have to frantically write down every single thing. I want you to be able to feel like you can actually participate and listen. So don't fret if you can't take notes fast enough. Again, I'll keep everybody on mute just for the sake of the audio quality for everyone. But if you do have a question, I'm happy to answer those, and just leave them in the chat, and I'll try to answer those throughout when I come to stopping points. So this is Discover How to Make Real Money from Your Creative Business so that you can do what you love while balancing a full life. And I want to let you know that you're in the right place if you're great, if you know you're great at what you do, but you could just use some help on the business side. You're also in the right place if you're working really, really hard, but not making enough money. I know a lot of you are in that position. You're in the right place if you're just getting started and you want to make money sooner rather than later and potentially avoid some of the common mistakes that new entrepreneurs make. And you're also in the right place if you're making money, but it's unfortunately coming at the expense of your free time, your relationships, your health, and even your sanity. So you're in the right place if any of those are true of you. What we're going to talk about today is how to put in place a proactive marketing approach to consistently attract the right clients, the secret to packaging and pricing services that actually sell, the core systems that you must have in your business to scale, a proven goal-setting method that will help you make consistent progress in your business, and how to stay engaged, inspired, and motivated in the daily grind. And I'm going to make one change here so that I can actually see what the heck I'm doing. And then we'll get back to it. Awesome. Perfect. So this may not be for you if you're looking for a secret tactic, marketing hack, or magic pill that's going to build your business for you. I unfortunately do not have anything to offer you like that. This also may not be for you if you'd prefer to stay in student mode, consuming as much information as possible without actually taking any action. This isn't for you if you're content to be a dabbler or a casual side hustler and you don't have any desire to build a long-term sustainable business. I don't have any problem with side hustling or dabbling in business. I think those things are fine. It's just not really what we're going to be talking about today. And this also may not be for you if you're offended when someone gives you an hour of free training and then makes an offer at the end. So I do have an opportunity to share with you all at the end of our presentation today. So if that's going to really rub you the wrong way, I just wanted to offer you a bit of fair warning. So let's talk about why we're here. We're here because we want to build businesses that allow us to make money doing what we actually like doing, and also balancing a full life outside of work. we started our businesses because we want to do work that we care about, and because we want to make money from that, and because we don't feel like we need to sacrifice our family, our free time, our sanity, our health, or any of that stuff in order to do it. We have this crazy idea that you should be able to actually like what you do, make money from it, and have a full life. Not too crazy, right? And we live this dream. We have this dream, and when we think about ourselves in the future, we think about managing not just ourselves, but like a team. Maybe you have an assistant or a team that helps you execute your work. You dream about working from an amazing studio instead of your kitchen table. You dream about working side by side with incredible clients and acting as a true, even creative director for your clients. You dream about the flexibility to go on field trips and pick up your kids from school, or go to yoga in the middle of the day, or take a week off, or go work remotely from some exotic island destination. You even dream about mentoring other entrepreneurs that are just getting started and being that person that's up speaking on a panel, talking about how you built your business. Somebody's not muted, so if everybody can go ahead and check whether or not they're muted, that would be super helpful. So that's the dream. But the reality is that dream isn't working out for a lot of us. Some of us are working harder than we've ever worked, but still not making enough money, not even close. You're up late at night and early in the morning trying to do all the things. You're stressed. Business is always on your mind, day in and day out. You can't seem to get enough of the right kinds of clients. And everybody that wants to work with you wants Neiman Marcus work at Walmart prices. And it's gotten to the point for some of you that you may be thinking, like, having my own business, this was a fun idea, but it may not actually be the best long-term plan. I need long-term to have a real sustainable source of income and work-life balance. So some of you are just getting started, or maybe you haven't even started yet, and you have big dreams of what your business can be, of starting your own business and working for yourself, but you just don't have a single clue how to do it. And it's really hard to translate those dreams that you have into practical action steps that you can take tomorrow and the next day and the next. And the business side of things just feels totally foreign and overwhelming, and you need a roadmap. You need real action steps that you can take in the direction of your vision. Others of you have started your business, and there's, a level on which your business just isn't working. Either you aren't making enough money, or you are making money, but at your own personal expense, and you're drowning in all the things, and you're more like an overworked and overwhelmed and underpaid employee than you are a thriving entrepreneur. And you need a reset. You need a method to evaluate and adjust what you're doing in your business so that you can make it profitable and sustainable. So I don't know which of these examples you resonate with, if you haven't started yet, or you're just getting started, or maybe you're a couple of years in and you need a reset. But either way, the reality is that we didn't start our businesses for the money. I talk to a lot of creative entrepreneurs in doing what I do, and very few of them started their businesses for the money. But we need to make money for our businesses to be sustainable, to be able to stay in this game long term. And that's why we're all here today. So some of you have been around me for a while. Others of you may be brand new to me. Either way, I'm so glad that you're here. This is a little bit about me. I am married to my husband, Travis. We've been married for about 12 years. I have 2 daughters that are 6 and 8. I'm a Christian. I follow Jesus in my life. I am a Texpat living in DC, meaning I am from Texas, but we live in DC now. We love DC. And I am a mediocre CrossFitter and food enthusiast, 2 things that are often at odds with each other, but I try to make it work. And before we get really too deep into the training today, I want to explain a little bit about how I got here and how I became a business coach. So I have a degree in business and finance from the University of Texas. And when it came time to interview for jobs, I was always just really intrigued about the idea of being a consultant. I love solving problems. I love the idea of working with clients. I love the idea of getting to kind of always solve new problems. I just really wanted to be a consultant. And so I thankfully was able to get a job as a corporate consultant. And my focus was strategy and financial planning. And I was doing this strategy and financial planning for public utilities. So we're talking about water companies, electric companies, and trash and recycling utilities for state and local governments in Texas and the Southwest. And no offense to the utility industry, we all need utilities, but as much as I really, really liked what I was doing, I really wasn't that excited about the industry that I was working in. And I knew it wasn't really what I wanted to do long term. So I worked full time in that job for 5 years. And then when my daughter was born, I went part time as a contractor. And I was doing the same work that I had done as a full time employee. I was just on a reduced schedule and reduced travel. I wasn't traveling as much. And something really interesting happened when I became part time, doing the same job and producing the same work that I had always produced. When I was introduced to other colleagues in the company or clients or whatever, I became, this is Katie. She works part time. And I began to be defined by the fact that I worked less hours than everybody else, even though my work product was the same quality as it always had been. And so that kind of confirmed it for me. And I knew I wanted to do something for my job that would allow me to have the ability to be with my kids the amount of time that I wanted to be with them while also pursuing a career. And I did not want to be put inside of a box of being a part-time employee. And I didn't want to be put in a box that would limit my ambition or my impact. And so our family moved to DC in 2017. And I knew this was the chance that I had been kind of waiting for to start my business and do work that I felt really invested in, and work in an industry that I felt some sort of personal connection to. And I wanted to be able to use all the strategy and financial planning skills and consulting skills that I had learned in almost a decade of being a consultant and apply them in a different way. And so when I moved to DC, I cut off my corporate stuff cold turkey and started building my business. But all I really knew was I wanted to work with small businesses. I didn't know anything else beyond like, here are the skills that I have, and I know I want to work with small businesses. I didn't know anything else. And I kind of had an aha moment when I had coffee with my friend Lauren. And Lauren and I had known each other from college, and she was in the throes of starting a new interior design business. She was less than a year in, and she was spread way too thin with way too many small projects. She was drowning in to-do lists. She was doing everything herself, dealing with bad clients, low-paying clients, clients that wouldn't pay, and all of the different things that we have all experienced as small business owners. And we were having coffee, and she was relating this to me, and she was sort of exasperated. And she was like, I don't even have a business plan. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's when it sort of hit me. I said, like, I know how to make business plans. And so that's kind of how my business was born. And I have been able to take everything that I have learned from my corporate background and apply it to clients that I love working with. And it's really, really been rewarding. And after that coffee with Lauren, and after I started working with Lauren and others like Lauren, my new obsession became creating a framework to help overworked and overwhelmed creatives become thriving entrepreneurs. And my definition of thriving is you're making good money, you're doing what you love to do, and it's not completely taking over your life. You're able to experience the freedom and flexibility of being an entrepreneur. And so I became sort of obsessed with creating a framework for this, and I packaged my framework and started working with clients, coaching clients one-on-one through the framework. And it's been going, like I said, since 2017. In 2017, I started what I called the Thrive program, which was a one-on-one coaching program. I had 3 clients in my beta pilot program. In 2018, I worked with 10 one-on-one coaching clients through my Thrive planning framework. And in 2019, I worked with 13 one-on-one clients through my Thrive planning framework. And I also, at the end of 2017, launched my online and group coaching experience, where I take that framework and make it available in an online format. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that in a bit. But I'm just really proud of where I've been able to come, in 3 years. But I also want to share, I built my business without like a huge social media following. As of today, I have like 1,200 followers on Instagram. I built it without a network. When I moved to DC, I did not know a single person. I did it without like super advanced ninja marketing tactics. I did it without working 60-hour weeks. I didn't even work 30 or 40-hour weeks. And I did it without flashy, expensive branding or a $50,000 website. And the reason is because the key to building a thriving business isn't any of those things. It isn't having a massive following. It isn't having flashy branding. It isn't having, super advanced marketing tactics. It's just having a good plan. Having a good plan is the key to building a thriving business. And there's research that supports this. There's research that shows that companies with business plans grow 30% faster than companies without them. And there's also research that shows the benefit of planning, is great for startups, but it's even better for businesses that are already in existence. Businesses that are already in existence benefit even more from business planning than brand new businesses do. And there's also research that shows that entrepreneurs who make an actual plan for their business are 150% more likely to actually start their business. So whether you're just getting started or whether you already have an existing business and you want to make it better, business plans can be the key. They're not new. Like tons and tons has been written on the topic of business plans. If you go to Amazon and search business plan, you'll get 20,000 results. So what I've done here is not create anything new. I've just used my business background and experience and combined it with the absolute best literature that exists on the topic to design a framework for creative entrepreneurs like yourselves. And so you might be thinking like, Katie, I've never had a business plan and things are working out, pretty okay for me. So what I would say to that is, one, if you have been able to build a business and achieve some level of success without a business plan, it's probably because you're doing some of these things that we're going to talk about in this training today without really realizing that you're doing it. And so maybe you don't have a written plan per se, but you're doing some of these things intuitively, or you've pieced it together along the way. And the second thing I would say to that is, if you've been able to build a business without a plan, then that's awesome. But you're never going to reach your full true potential without a real solid foundational plan. So I would argue that if you've never had a business plan, you're leaving money on the table. So what I've done and what we're going to talk about today for the rest of the training is I've created a simple but effective business planning framework that you don't need a $100,000 MBA to understand. This is, even if you have my goal for this has always been to create a framework that is easy to apply, even if you have absolutely no background in business. And a lot of my clients in the past didn't have any background in business. So the framework is made up of 5 parts. It's your long-term plan, your marketing and sales plan, pricing and financial plan, systems to scale, and goals and progress. So we're going to go through all 5 parts of the framework today. And I'll also say this is applicable to businesses at any stage. So when I was working one-on-one with clients, I had clients who had been in business for 8 years. And I also had clients who were literally just launching their business and using this framework to launch. And we all walked through the same stuff. In my online program right now, I have people that are just getting started and haven't launched yet. And I have people that have been in business for 3 or 4 years. So that's what's so powerful about a framework versus a formula, because a framework is flexible and adaptable and can be applied in a lot of different stages. A formula has to be followed to a T or it doesn't work, right? So that's why I use the word framework and not like formula for this. So I'm going to give an overview today of all 5 parts of the framework, but I'm going to go into more detail on 2. And the 2 I'm going to go into more detail on are your marketing and sales plan and your pricing and financial plan, because this is where I see a lot of people struggling. And, normally if somebody comes to me and they're like, my business is not working, I have this, that, and the other problem, this is normally the source of it. So this is what we're going to these are the 2 parts of the framework that we're going to spend the most time on, but we are going to talk about all 5. So without further ado, let's dive into the first part of the framework, which is your long-term plan. So I want to ask if any of you have ever had a bad job. Thankfully, I'm not a person that has ever had a bad job, but I know a lot of people have, and there are a lot of different things that can make a job totally miserable. But when you talk to people that have had bad jobs, there's a couple things that will make something feel really miserable. And that the first thing is having to do a bunch of stuff and not knowing why you're doing it. So just somebody saying, I want you to do this. Don't ask why, just do it. You work for me. Like, that's miserable. And the second thing that makes a job miserable is working really, really, really hard, but not knowing where you're going. If you've ever been part of like a totally directionless and visionless organization, it can feel like you're on a hamster wheel. Just like, I'm working hard and I'm running, but we're staying still. We're not going anywhere. So some of you are doing this to yourselves in your own businesses. You aren't giving yourself any sort of clarity about the big picture of where you want to be in your business. And so the first thing you need to do as you're thinking through making a business plan isn't to figure out your content strategy. It's not to update your pricing. It's not to do a rebrand. It's not to do any of that stuff. The first thing you need to do is get clarity on what you really want long-term and bring your short-term into alignment with that long-term goal. So the definition I like to use for your vision is a big, hairy, audacious goal that you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. So where do you want to be 10 years from now? And let's bring everything that you're doing now into alignment with that ultimate vision. And the more detail you have, the more motivating this long-term vision is going to be, and the more clarity it's going to give you. So in 10 years, how much money do you want to be making? What's your geographic reach? Are you statewide? Are you the best in your city? Are you national? Who are your clients? Do you have employees? If so, how many? What kinds of employees? What's your role in the business? Are you still in the day-to-day, or have you pulled back and are operating in more of a visionary role? What are you most proud of? Okay, so I want you to think through your 10-year vision with a lot of detail and clarity. And you probably have seen this quote on the internet somewhere. You've probably seen it without attribution, but it is in fact a quote from Bill Gates. And it is that most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And the point of this is to say, don't dream too small. Don't dream too small. I'm not saying you have to build the next Amazon or Google or Microsoft, but I want you to have a 10-year vision that you would be proud and that would be worthy of you to spend 10 years of your life on. If we're building long-term sustainable businesses, they need to be worth building. And so I want you to have a vision that's worth spending 10 years of your life on, and start living and operating in your business according with that vision right now. So operate your business like a visionary, like somebody that has a vision, and it will make you more effective, more focused, and have more clarity in what you're doing right now. So that's the first part of the framework. The second part of the framework is your marketing and sales plan. And we are going to spend a little bit more time here. But I want to ask you, what would it mean for you if you knew exactly where to find your ideal client? What would it mean for you if you felt 100% confident talking to prospective clients? What if you consistently were getting high quality leads coming into your business? What if you were known as the go-to person in your niche, the go-to person for your ideal client? What if you could vet the wrong clients before you worked with them? There's one. And what if you had no problem at all closing sales and never got ghosted by your prospective clients? So all of these things are evidence of a really, really strong marketing and sales system in your business. And unfortunately, here's how a lot of creative entrepreneurs approach marketing. You got to have a pretty feed. You got to have pretty photos that are curated and all on brand and all, perfect and a nice pattern on your Instagram. You need to have a pretty website, and you need to have pretty branding and pretty proposals and pretty materials that you send out to your clients. And when that doesn't work, it must be time for a rebrand. But the problem is, it takes more than strong visuals to bring in clients. I'm not saying that strong visuals are unimportant. Having good-looking branding and good-looking visuals is obviously really important, especially if your work is visual. If you're a photographer, if you're a designer, then visuals do matter, but they're not enough to bring in clients. And so marketing in general can seem kind of mysterious. But no matter what kind of business that you have, marketing is the same. Whether you're a graphic designer or whether you manufacture plastic bottle caps, marketing is kind of the same. And a lot of people use the analogy that your marketing should work kind of like a funnel. And at the top of that funnel is your target audience, the people who are your ideal client that you would be excited to work with. And for those people, your goal is just to raise awareness that your business exists. You want your target audience to know that your business exists, and you want to start educating them about what you do. So after, when you get further down the funnel, you go from target audience to leads. Leads are people who could potentially become clients. They're people you could actually work with. And with these people, with these leads, the goal is to nurture the relationship. And the truth about marketing is that all marketing, even marketing online, is about relationships with real people. So you want to nurture your relationships with your leads so that they're ultimately going to trust you and want to hire you. So sometimes leads turn into prospects. Prospects are people who have raised their hand and they've said, I'm interested in working with you. Tell me how. And so to your prospects, you present your offer. You pitch your stuff with the goal of making the sale. And when you make the sale, obviously your prospects turn into clients. And then your goal for clients is to serve them well. Serve them well. And the bad news is there's no single marketing strategy. There's no single platform that is going to be your one-stop shop for doing all of these things. So that's the bad news. But the good news is you don't need 97 different marketing tactics and strategies to be able to hit all parts of the funnel. You just need one or two that work really, really well for your unique business. So the key is when you're trying to identify your funnel and move people down the funnel is to use calls to action to move people intentionally through your process. So what this could look like, this isn't the only way it can look, but what this could look like is you raise awareness about your business among your target audience on your Instagram and on your website. And you want the people in your target audience that follow you on Instagram and that visit your website to sign up for your newsletter so that you can stay in touch. And then you nurture your leads, you nurture those people that have signed up for your newsletter, you nurture them through your email marketing. And then every now and then, when you send out your emails and you send out your newsletter, you say, you should schedule a discovery call. You call them to a specific action that moves them down your funnel. And then when they schedule a discovery call, now they're a prospect, not just a lead. And then on that discovery call, you make your offer and say these are the steps you need to go through in order to make our working relationship official. And then they become clients. Okay. So this is just one example of what a marketing funnel, a marketing system can look like. There's not a one size fits all solution here. There's not. You have the complete freedom to create a marketing strategy that works for you and works for your unique business. So I have a confession before we move on, and this isn't like new information probably to some of you, and this is not complicated. It is not rocket science. If you're just getting started, it might be new, and that's fine. But if you've been at this for a while, you've probably heard about calls to action. You've probably heard about having a funnel. You've probably heard about leads versus prospects versus clients versus your target audience and your ideal client. So if you were coming here today expecting to learn a bunch of new information that you've never heard of before, you've probably joined the wrong training and you might be disappointed. So the question I have for you isn't, have you heard this before? Is this working inside of your business? So the question can't be, do you know this stuff? The question is, are you doing it and is it working? That's really all we care about. So I think about Kate. So Kate was a client that I worked with in 2019, and she was struggling because she was not getting enough business. She is a Parsons trained interior designer. She had been in business for 6 years, and she had had a lot of business. She had never really had a year where she didn't have enough work. And then all of a sudden, she just had no leads coming in the door. And so she was considering a lot of different ways to address the problem. She was considering, well, maybe I need to rebrand. Maybe I need to put more effort into getting press for my business. Maybe I need to up my game on social media. And so she was even at some point, she was so dried up on work that she was even interviewing for full-time jobs because she was like, maybe this has just come to an end and this isn't going to work anymore. So when we started working together and started working through the framework, I helped her create a marketing funnel that was unique to her business and unique to her ideal client. And the result of that very specific and simple marketing strategy was that she secured 3 high-end remodel projects that had $150,000 budgets in less than 9 months. And she did that without redoing her website. She did it without spending any additional time or effort on social media. She didn't really do much except say, okay, who am I trying to reach? And what are some simple steps that I can go through to actually reach that person? Okay, so that's the power of an intentional and well thought out marketing strategy, is going from no leads coming in the door to, in 9 months, $450,000 worth of remodel projects. That's pretty dramatic. So the long and short of it is, effective marketing isn't about one single strategy or any particular platform, but it's an intentional system that helps you turn your target audience into clients. And that can look different for every single person, but it has to be intentional. Some tips for as you're thinking through the funnel for your own business. Well, first is always, always, always keep your ideal client in mind. Sometimes we're using a bunch of marketing tactics because we see other people using them. But then when we really think about it, we realize, like, if I'm trying to reach this type of person, I really shouldn't be spending so much time on Instagram. I really shouldn't be doing Facebook. My person isn't there. So always, always, always decide about what your marketing funnel looks like, not based on what other people are doing, but based on what's going to work for your ideal client. Don't neglect calls to action. Here's kind of what I assume when I'm marketing my own business. Hopefully this doesn't offend you, but I kind of assume people are dumb. Not because I actually think people are dumb, but because I think when it comes to trying to get somebody's attention in a very noisy world, you have to dumb it down for people and say, if you want to work with me, you need to push this button. You need to fill out this form. You need to send me a DM. So don't neglect calls to action. There are some people that I have been following on Instagram for like 2 years, and I've literally never seen them offer a call to action at all. They're just populating their feed and kind of hoping that people figure it out. And I don't want you to do that, okay? Assume people are dumb. Use calls to action. Third, the narrower the niche, the easier it is to market. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. A lot of people get stuck in this idea that I need to broaden who I'm working with, or my business isn't going to make money. That's actually not true. The narrower your niche, the more specific you are about who you're trying to work with, the easier your marketing becomes. Next, forget about the follower count. Don't even worry about how many followers you have. Focus on, are you effective at turning the followers that you already have into customers? And if you aren't doing that, if you have followers on Facebook or on Instagram and you have 5,000 followers, but you get no clients from it, do you really think it's going to make a difference for your business if you had 50,000 followers or 500,000 followers? It won't. Worry about becoming really, really good at turning your followers into customers, regardless of how many of them there are. The next thing I really like to advise people to do is to go deep versus wide on strategies. So I would rather see you get really, really, really good at using a few marketing strategies than try to do everything. And you see this a lot with like content stuff. You see people are, they're like, they've got a YouTube channel and they've got an Instagram and they are on Twitter and they're on Facebook and they're on LinkedIn and they're trying to be everywhere. That's pretty advanced. And so that's not going to work for most small businesses, especially if you're a solopreneur. I'd rather see you go all in on a few platforms and on a few strategies and not feel like you have to do everything. Next, don't be afraid to experiment. Sometimes you don't really know what's going to work until you try it. And so don't be afraid to try things out. That's different than going deep, going wide. Trying something to figure out if it's going to work for you doesn't mean that you're unfocused and you're trying to do too much. Don't be afraid to experiment. Last, play to your strengths. If you're an amazing writer, write like an incredible weekly newsletter. If you're really, really good at connecting with people in person, go to a bunch of networking events. So think about what your strengths are and play to those strengths when you are marketing your business. Okay, so that's the marketing and sales piece. The next piece that I want to dig into in a little bit more depth is your pricing and your financial plan. And I want to ask you if any of these things sound familiar. How much would people be willing to pay for XYZ service? I want to keep my prices affordable. I love that one. I can't raise rates or I'll lose business. I don't want to price myself out of the market. All of these statements reflect a really, really, really common mistake, which is undercharging for your services. 9 times out of 10, when a business isn't making enough money, this is the problem, is you're undercharging. And the funny thing about undercharging is that most people that are undercharging for their stuff know that they're doing it, but they're doing it anyway. And how a lot of creatives approach pricing is you want your pricing and your packages list to be kind of like a wine list. You want to have a lot of different options for a lot of different preferences. You want a lot of different price points in case, some people want to buy $5 glass of wine. Some people want to buy $20 glass of wine. You have miniaturized versions of all of your services. Like you can buy your services by the glass, not by the bottle. And in short, there's a little bit of something for everyone. This is how a lot of creative entrepreneurs are approaching their pricing is, I want to have a little bit of something for everyone and try to be all things to all people. And so I want you to, the first thing that we need to address here when it comes to packaging and pricing is a paradigm shift. And this approach to pricing reflects a common belief. And that belief is, if I do more, I'll make more. If I do more things, if I work for more types of clients, if I offer more services, then I'll make more. So I'm encouraging you to adopt a new belief when it comes to your packaging and your pricing. And that belief is, the less I do, the more I make. The less I do, the more that I make. Let me offer an example. So let's say I have a goal of making $5,000 per month, and my average revenue per project is $500. I have to work with 10 clients in 1 month to hit my $5,000 a month goal. As an alternative, say I still want to make $5,000 a month, but I'm able to bring my average revenue per client up to $1,000 per project. So that means I only have to work with 5 clients in order to hit my $5,000 per month goal. So my question for you is, which business is more profitable? They made the same amount of revenue, but the second business is more profitable because you had to do less work and put in less effort to make your $5,000. So this is the paradigm shift you absolutely must make in order to make more money in your business. Is you need to move away from being everything to everybody and start to embrace making more money while doing less. Okay? Making more while doing less. So here's what I actually recommend. Good pricing, strong pricing in your business always starts with good packaging. And the packaging piece often gets neglected. So I want you to revolve your entire business around 1 or maybe 2 signature services. No more than 2 signature services. And the base price for your signature service should reflect the best possible solution that you can offer to the client to solve their issue or to meet their objective. Okay. I see so many people saying, well, this is the real thing that I want to sell, but here's this miniature version in case people don't want to buy my real solution for my clients. And I want you to move away from that. I want your base price for your signature service to reflect the best possible solution that you have to meet your client's needs. Okay. So no more mini packages, no more being a wine list and trying to be everything to everyone. And I want you, instead of focusing on miniaturizing your service down from the base package, I want you to focus on having the base package be the smallest thing that you sell and upsell from there. Be a dessert menu, not a wine list, if we're going to keep going with the restaurant analogy. And I want you to ask yourself, when you are packaging your signature service and trying to decide what to charge for it, I want you to not ask yourself, how much would people be willing to pay for X, Y, and Z package? Instead, ask, what would I need to provide to make this price seem like an amazing value? So how can you make that service so irresistible and so packed with value that the price that they have to pay seems like a steal, seems like they're getting a deal? Okay, so here are the benefits of this approach. The benefits of this approach are you get to develop a reputation as the go-to person for your signature service, and people will know exactly what you do. Okay, for people that have been around my business for the last 2 years, they know that my business is about the Thrive program because I only offered one thing. It also allows you the opportunity to streamline your processes. So the ironic thing about streamlining your business down to like one or two things that you're doing not only makes it easier for your clients to decide how to work with you, but it also makes your life a ton easier on the back end because you're able to streamline everything that you're doing according to, one or two things, one or two services. The other benefit is it helps you deliver more value. If you're working with fewer clients and working with them in a more in-depth way, you're able to really deliver value instead of trying to figure out, okay, how can I offer this $500 service without spending 20 hours on it and make this client still feel like they're getting good work out of me? That's the position a lot of you are putting yourselves in. It allows you to make more money by working with fewer clients. And like I said, that means you're more profitable. It prevents client confusion. So a lot of you are just straight up confusing your prospective clients because you have 20 different things that you're offering them and they don't know which one to pick. It's too much. And the last thing I think is the most beneficial, and that is it allows you to do your best and your favorite work with every single client. A lot of the time when I am talking to creative entrepreneurs and I'm looking at all of the different things that they offer, I'll ask them like, what do you really want to be doing? Like what out of these 10 things is your favorite? And what if we could maybe just have you do that and not do all of this other stuff that you think you need to be doing? And almost always there's one thing that stands out as that person's best and favorite work, and everything else they're like, yeah, I can let go of this, no problem. So I think about Portia. Portia was a client that I worked with through my framework in 2019 as well. And she was kind of a jack of all trades event planner and stylist. She would do your baby shower. She would do your corporate event. She would do your wedding. She would do whatever you would throw at her. And as a result of that, she was working way too many hours for a lot of really stressful clients and really just kind of scraping by financially. And so what we did when we worked through the framework together is she niched down to focus on corporate and nonprofit clients. And when she did that, she doubled her rates without losing any of the clients that she actually wanted to keep. So she already had some corporate and nonprofit clients. She doubled her rates with those existing clients, kept every single one of them, got rid of everyone else, and also within a few weeks brought in a new $10,000 client contract. But even with all of those amazing business results, the thing that she was most excited about when I was talking to her about her experience was the fact that she didn't have any client stress in her life anymore. She didn't get any more 10 p.m. text messages from people asking about the decorations for their baby shower. That was the kind of life she was living, and that all went away just as a result of niching down and focusing on the clients that she really wanted to work with. Megan had a similar story. Megan was a general family photographer. She would do your senior portraits and your big family portraits and your Christmas card photo and all of that stuff. And her booking was kind of stagnant. Like she had started her business, but she had lost momentum and wasn't getting the traction that she thought she should be getting. And so when she worked through the framework, she decided to niche down and focus only on newborn and maternity. That allowed her to streamline her processes, focus on the client experience, really, really focus her marketing messaging on one type of client. And as a result of doing all of that, she was able to grow her sales by 30% while doing less work. She grew her business while working less. And she does all of this stuff in like a 10 to 15 hour a week work week because she still has a toddler at home with her full time. So this stuff can really have a big impact on your profitability, but also your life, working less and having less stress. So pricing is also one of those things that can feel really overwhelming and complicated. And you can make your pricing more complicated than this if you feel like you need to. But at the end of the day, your pricing comes down to how much money you need to make. And I want you to have a real number for that, of how much money you need to make to pay yourself and to pay your bills and to pay your taxes. And how many clients you think you can serve. And your income needs divided by your capacity to serve should be your base price. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than this. It does probably need to have some more detail. Like you need to know, okay, within your income needs, what are all of your expenses? What's your tax rate? How much do you want to make? What are some projects that you want to do this year that you want to invest in? And you add detail to it. But the basic concept isn't more complicated than this. And the real magic happens when you know exactly how many clients you need to get every single month to meet your income goals. And then once you get those clients, you can start booking out in advance. And you know you're set, you're full. That's when the real magic happens. So the pricing and packaging part of the framework, in short, is I want you to revolve your business around one or maybe two signature services that you price based on your income needs and your capacity. And that's it. It's amazing how simple business can actually be. We tend to make it so complicated, but it can be so simple. I saw there was a question in the chat, so I'm going to take a quick break. If you have questions now, would be a good time to throw them in the chat that I'm looking at it. Capacity to serve, is it number of clients or hours willing to put in? That is a great question. And the answer to that question is it depends on how you want to measure your capacity. So if you are an hourly based business model, so then it probably does make sense to say, okay, how many hours per month do I want to bill? And that would be your capacity. But if you are a business that charges like a fixed rate, then it makes more sense, I think, for your capacity to be number of clients. But it really can be either one. And it all depends on how you are choosing to think about your capacity inside of your own business. But that's a really good question. Yeah. If anybody has other questions as we go along, just drop them. Oh, whoops. Hang on. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, if you have questions as we go along, just drop them in the chat and I will reshare. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. Okay. So that's the packaging and pricing piece of the framework. Let's talk about systems to scale. I hear a lot of people saying stuff like this. I feel pulled in a lot of different directions. I can't get enough done. My to-do list is only getting longer. I really need to be more organized, or I need to be more motivated. I need to be more productive, or I have so much work to do. My work-life balance is suffering. I hear a lot of people talking like this, and you need systems in your business in order to be able to respond to these problems. And the challenge is it takes time to build systems, and time is what you feel like you don't have, but systems will save you time. Okay, so it's sort of a chicken and egg problem. You need systems to grow. You need systems to be able to work with more clients and expand your capacity. And it takes time to build those systems, but the systems will save you time. So the way I like to think about systems is not like one particular piece of software or one particular program, but systems is more of an approach. And everything you do in your business is a system or a process, or can be a system or a process. So I like to see people looking at everything that they're doing inside of their business and documenting all of it. So literally anything you do can be a documented system. So I want you to document your steps, get those steps out of your head, out of your notebooks and into a piece of software so that every time you do something in your business, you aren't feeling like you're reinventing the wheel. Because that's what's keeping you so overwhelmed, is you're trying to hold too many things in your head without documenting what you're doing and getting into software. And the beauty of documenting the processes and the systems in your business and getting it into software and out of your head is that if you ever want to think about hiring an assistant, if you ever want to think about expanding your team, if you have these systems and processes in place, then hiring becomes a million times easier, because you can easily say, here are the things that need to be due for X, Y, and Z, and here's exactly how to do it. And so if you're not totally sure where to start, every creative entrepreneur needs 3 core systems in their business. You can add more things on top of this if you want, but you can get by with and really thrive with 3 basic core systems. A bookkeeping system, so how to keep track of the revenue and the expenses in your business. A client relationship management system like HoneyBook or Dubsado or 17 Hats, a piece of software that manages all of the aspects of working with your clients. And a project management system. So we're talking about Asana, Wunderlist, Nozbe, Trello, whatever it is that you use. You need something that can be your business brain so that you don't have to be your business brain. So if you have 3 systems inside of your business, that's really all you need. And that's good news, because I know none of us have time to learn how to use 97 different types of software. Nobody has time for that. All right. So that's the systems piece of the framework. So we're on to the last piece of the framework. And once you have all of the other parts of the framework in place, once you have a strong long-term vision, once you have a clear marketing plan, once you have a clear pricing and financial structure, once you have a really good foundation of systems, then you can set some goals and start moving forward in your business. So a lot of people feel like they don't really have the time that they want for the projects that are going to move your business forward. Other people really struggle to maintain consistency in marketing. I hear this a lot. You get really, really busy in your business with clients and you don't market at all. And then your business totally dies. And then you're like, oh, I guess I better start marketing my business again. That you struggle to maintain consistency in marketing. Other people feel like you're crossing things off the list, like you're doing stuff, you're executing tasks, but you don't know if you're actually being productive and using your time well and doing the things that are going to actually move the needle in your business. Other people feel really discouraged by that. If you feel like all I'm doing is working, but I can't seem to make progress, that can be really discouraging. And other people really struggle to know how to prioritize in the face of an endless list of tasks. And so kind of a truth that I operate by in my business and in my life is that if everything is important, then nothing is important. So you cannot operate in your business as if every single item on your to-do list is equally important as every single other item. You need to operate your business every single day from a clear set of priorities and goals. You need to have a very clear sense of, what am I trying to accomplish this year? What am I trying to accomplish this quarter? And in order to stay on track with those 2 things, what do I need to do this week? And what do I need to do today? And so the last piece of the framework is 12-month goals. And these goals should reflect the most important priorities in your business. So whatever the most important thing is for you to accomplish this year, that should be reflected in your goals. Your goals should be aligned with the framework. So this is a big thing. A lot of people set goals for their business, but their goals aren't aligned with a business model that actually works. And so people will say, like, I want to make 100K this year, but you're pricing, your work really, really cheaply. And so it's out of alignment. Okay, so whatever your goals are need to be aligned with the other pieces of the framework. Your goals need to be outcomes, not tasks. I see a lot of people setting goals that are basically just a list of a bunch of the things that you want to do this year instead of the outcomes that you want to achieve. Your goals need to paint a crystal clear and vivid picture of exactly where you want to be in your business in 12 months. not a list of the stuff you want to have done in 12 months. And your goals also should be inspiring. We all know, like, running a business is hard. There are days when you feel discouraged. There are days when you like want to go do something else. I have those days all the time too. But your goals are what keep you inspired and motivated and engaged in the day-to-day and help you to keep going. So when you're setting your 12-month goals, I want you to feel the freedom to really imagine, what would a breakthrough year really look like for you? A lot of people, are familiar with the idea of SMART goal setting. And SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound, I think, is the T. People have different versions of this acronym, but the R is often realistic. And I absolutely hate the word realistic when it comes to goal setting, because I think most of us, and some of you may have heard me say this before on the podcast, but most of us, when we hear realistic, we think comfortable. And I don't want your goals to be comfortable. I want you to challenge yourself to imagine your breakthrough year and imagine what that would really, really look like, and set your goals accordingly. Don't set goals that are comfortable or that seem realistic, but set goals that are going to motivate and challenge and inspire you to have the breakthrough year that you want to have. So when you're doing your goal setting, you set the 12-month goals, but then I want you to break that down into a 90-day plan. So you have your 12-month goals, and then you break that down into what do you need to do in the next 90 days to be closer to those goals at the end of 90 days. And the elements of your 90-day plan should be, you have your top priority goals. So of all of your 12-month goals that you're going to work on this year, what's the one that you're really focusing on as the top priority for this quarter? So that's the first element of your 90-day plan. The second is your sales goal. Okay, so you have, how much money do you want to make this quarter? How many clients is that going to come from? What dollar amount are you going for? I want you to have a clear sales goal for every single quarter of your business. And then once you know your top priority of what you're going to be working on for the quarter, and also how much money you need to make, that's when you can make a really clear plan of like action steps. So what do I need to do on a monthly basis? What do I need to do on a weekly basis? What do I need to do on a daily basis? And are there some one-time projects that I'm going to tackle in the next 90 days to make progress on these goals as well? So that's how we break things down. It's important to have one-year goals, but you really have to back that up and break it down into the next 90 days, because you probably have a really good sense of what you can get done in the next 90 days. It's probably a lot harder for you to gauge what you're going to be able to get done in the next month, in the next year. So that is the framework. That's a very quick but hopefully valuable overview of the business planning framework that can help you make more money in your business while you're doing what you love to do, and also without sacrificing all of the freedom and all of the freedom that you thought you were going to get as an entrepreneur. There's no hacks here. There are no secrets, just good, solid business fundamentals. So I'm not totally sure why all of you are here today. Maybe you want to start a business, but you're struggling to know how to turn your dreams into practical action steps. Maybe you're frustrated and overwhelmed because your business isn't profitable. Maybe you're exhausted because your business is profitable, but it's coming at your expense and it isn't sustainable. And it can be frustrating as an entrepreneur because sometimes it can feel like a lot of other people are able to figure this out. And why isn't it working for you? And maybe you need more credentials. Maybe you need more followers. Maybe you need more time. Other people out there probably have more time than you. Maybe you need more money. Maybe you need more hustle. Maybe you need more education, more discipline. Like, we start to wonder, why is everyone else able to make this work, but I am struggling? There must be something that's missing. And if you take one thing away that I'm going to say today, I want it to be that you don't need more anything to build a business that actually works. You don't need more followers. You don't need more money. You don't need more time. You don't need different life circumstances. You don't. But you do need a plan. You need a plan to make your business make money so that you can do what you love while balancing a full life. Plans are what create progress. I've worked with dozens and dozens of creative entrepreneurs over the past 3 years so that they can develop solid plans to make their businesses make money. And these are not people with thousands of followers. These are not people with thousands of dollars to invest. These are not people with backgrounds in business even. These are just passionate, talented people who wanted to make a living doing what they love to do. And after putting their business plans in place, they achieved some incredible results. One woman increased her sales by 50% by working 20% less hours. Another woman went from $0 to $15,000 in sales in less than 2 months. Another is already halfway booked for 2020, and it's February. But even more importantly, all of these ladies, in addition to these incredible business results that they've achieved, all of these ladies are moving forward with the confidence and clarity that can only come from knowing that all of your hard work is actually taking you somewhere. That all of your hard work is actually going to add up to a business that works. And I think a lot of us, if we knew that our business was ultimately going to work, that it was ultimately going to be successful, we would feel a lot less discouraged and impatient right now. We would trust the process. We would trust that the things that we're doing right now were adding up to something that was going to be worth building. And I want you to remember, again, this isn't rocket science. I didn't make this stuff up. I didn't invent this stuff. It's not new. It's not novel. It's not cutting edge. And also, having a business plan doesn't necessarily mean that building a business is going to be easy. And it also doesn't absolve you from showing up and doing the work. But all of you on a random Monday have showed up and sat through an hour-long presentation from a girl on the internet. And I think what that shows about you is that you are ready and willing to do the work of building your business. But you want to know that it's going to work. And that's the piece that a lot of you are missing. Is you're ready to do the work. You just want to know it's going to work. And that comes from having a clear plan. So the question I have for you is, how are you going to take what you've learned today and apply it to your own business? Are you going to stay in student mode and keep learning without taking action? Are you going to try to DIY it based on what I've shared today? Or are you going to do it fast? And I want to offer you an opportunity to take what you've learned today and apply it as quickly and efficiently and as pain-free as possible. And so that's why I want to share with you about Thrive Business Bootcamp. So Thrive Business Bootcamp is my online course and group coaching experience that helps creative entrepreneurs develop actionable business plans so that you can make money doing what you love while balancing a full life. So I've taken the framework that I've been using with clients for the past 3 years and put it into a new format so that more people can benefit from it. And so that, that more people can be able to build businesses that actually work. I want to talk you through just a few different elements of what's included in the program. And then I know somebody's dropped a question in the chat. I'm going to get back to that. And I'm also going to answer any other questions that you have. But there's a few different elements of the program. So the first element is the self-paced online modules. So this is basically walking you through step by step, holding your hand of everything I've talked about today. So it's a detailed framework to help you apply every single element of the framework that I've walked through in this training. So there's actually 24 lessons in this thing, lose counting, right? With workbooks, templates, tutorials, and all of that jazz. And as a member of Thrive Business Bootcamp, you will get lifetime access to this content and any future updates that I make, which I already know a few updates that are going to be coming down the pike in like a few months. So this is something that will be relevant to you. So there's a lot of value here. There's a script of how to structure your discovery calls so that you can actually convert people into clients. There's a spreadsheet template that will help you make your financial plan and your pricing for your business. Quite frankly, I think this spreadsheet template is worth the entire cost of the program. There's a tutorial on how to set up your project management software. There's tons of stuff in here that's all relevant to the things we've been talking about today, and it's hosted on Kajabi. There's also group coaching calls. So I know that just giving you a framework to work through on your own can feel overwhelming, and it feels like you might need a little bit more support. So I am going to be also doing 4 90-minute group coaching calls that are going to be happening over the next 6 to 8 weeks. And on those calls, I'm going to do like miniature mindset coaching to help you overcome some of the common mindset challenges that face creative entrepreneurs. But we're going to spend the majority of those 90-minute coaching calls on hot seat question and answer sessions with the members, because I want to be able to support you guys as you are trying to apply what you are learning in the framework to your own business. There are things that are going to come up, and we want to have a way to address that. And then there's also a private Facebook community where all of the members are. And this is a way that you can be connected to other like-minded people who are going through a similar process and have similar goals as you, so that you can have more people to ask when you have something come up in your business besides, random people in your family that don't have a clue what the heck you do. You will have now access to a community that can support you in a really unique way. In addition to kind of the core pieces of the program, I'm also offering 2 bonuses for people that join this round. The first bonus is we're going to be doing an exclusive interview with Julie Wilhite in the month of March. There's no specific date yet. But Julie is a really well-known, highly sought-after wedding photographer in the Austin and Central Texas area. And she is going to be sharing with us modern marketing strategies to help you get booked out in advance. I know that's sort of like a pipe dream for some of us, but she has developed a marketing system for her business that allows her to be booked out really far in advance. And so I know that you will all be interested in that, no matter what kind of craft you have. And then the other bonus is I'm going to be doing a workshop, a paid workshop on February 26th, where I help you plan your perfect work week so that you can balance your full life and your growing business. I know we're all wearing a lot of different hats as business owners and as parents and as all the different things that we are. And so one of the best tools that I have to help me balance my work life and my personal life is creating a perfect work week, which I'm going to walk people through in a paid workshop on February 26th. So there's all these things that are included in Thrive Business Bootcamp. There's the self-paced online modules, private Facebook community, group coaching calls, 2 bonus trainings. All of this stuff is valued at over $4,300. It's really, really just packed with value. And your investment is less than half that. So if you pay upfront, it's $19.97. If you pay monthly for 6 months, it's $397 a month. So you can get started for as little as $400. You can get started building a business that actually works and that actually makes you money. And so I think the value is certainly there. One question that I do get a lot. Why isn't this moving forward? Hold on. Oh, there we go. So one question I get a lot is like, how long does it take to go through your program? And one of the really important things I wanted to do when I took my framework and made it an online program is I really wanted it to be self-paced, because everybody's life is different. And so, some people are going to cram the whole thing into a week. Some people are going to space it out over several weeks. And there's not any part of the program that's like telling you this is what you need to do when. But the other thing I want to say about this is that it's not really about how long it takes to do the videos and to go through the framework. It's not really about that, because it's about how fast you can get results in your business. And if you apply what you're learning, you can get results really fast. So I had 3 people go through the framework in the last 6 months that were just getting started in their businesses. And they, I had one client, Catherine, who made her first $13,000 in sales in 6 weeks. I had another client who made $15,000 in sales in 8 weeks. Another client who got her first 2 ideal clients at her full rate within 2 weeks of starting the program. So it's not really about how quickly you can do the videos. I think this program can get you really quick wins and also make a long-term impact in the profitability of your business. So I also did want to share, I'm offering a guarantee. So I want you to take 90 days to do the work, to do the modules, to go to the coaching calls, to participate in the Facebook group, and to take the action in your business, to take the action on your business plan. And if after 90 days, you don't feel like you're getting the results that you wanted to get from the program after doing the work, then I'll give you your money back. All you have to do is email customer success at katiewuso.com, show your work, that you've done the work, show me that you showed up, and I'll refund 100% of your money. That's how strongly I feel about the fact that this process, if you do the work, this process will work. So if you are ready to finally start the business that you've only been dreaming about, if you're ready to actually start making money doing what you love to do, if you're ready to stop being exhausted and overwhelmed by your business, if you want to go into 2020 with clarity and focus, maybe more clarity and focus than you've ever had, then I would be absolutely thrilled for you to join me as a founding member of Thrive Business Bootcamp. You will be getting an email with the link to the page that has more details about the program. You can also just go to the page. It's programs.katiewuso.com/TBB. So programs.katiewuso.com/TBB, Thrive Business Bootcamp. But you'll be getting a link in your email inbox a little bit later, maybe even already. But I'm going to go back to I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to go back to these questions that were shared a little while ago. And then if you have any other questions about the bootcamp, I'll be happy to answer those as well. So would you recommend having different rates for different sizes of businesses? Great question. Also, any thoughts or tips on managing 2 businesses or more at once? Okay. I'll answer the first question first. Would you recommend having different rates for different sizes of businesses? Yes, but you should never go below your base rate. So I want to, like when you say different rates for different sizes of clients, how I see that playing out is you have a base rate that you will never go under. But then if you get a client that is bigger, and that is going to get more value from the work that you're doing, and the work you're doing is going to have a greater impact because they're a larger client, then you charge them more. But what I don't want to see you do is have a base rate for what you want to charge, and then a really tiny business comes along and you're like, oh, well, since you're small, I'm going to charge you less. But I absolutely think it's justifiable to upsell and charge more for the work that you're doing for bigger clients, because with bigger clients, your work is going to have more of an impact and add more value to the organization. So really, really good question. Thoughts or tips on managing 2 businesses at once? And you even say or more at once. I truly hope you're not managing more than 2 businesses at a time. I honestly don't have a lot of thoughts on that. I think, one thing I would think about is to be really clear. I don't think it's sustainable for you to have 2 businesses that you're running the day-to-day operations of for forever. So I would be thinking ahead to, like, what's your exit strategy for getting out of the day-to-day operations of those businesses? And what that means is you're going to have to start defining really strong processes and systems so that you can hand things over to people gradually and eventually extricate yourself from being the person that does all the things. That's really how I would think about that. It's not something I have a lot of experience with. I just have the one business, and that's plenty for me. And it's kind of, I normally, kind of my deal is I help people make more money by doing less stuff, not by doing more stuff. So it's a little bit different than what I do, but best of luck to you with the multiple businesses. That sounds like a lot. Anybody else have questions about Thrive Business Bootcamp or about the framework? Happy to answer. Appreciate you guys staying 15 extra minutes. Well, feel free to reach out via email if you have questions. Thanks, Tamara, for your kind words. If you have questions that come up, please share them via email. I'm happy to answer. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You'll be getting the information about Thrive Business Bootcamp in your email inbox shortly. But if you want to take a sneak peek now, you can go to programs.katiewuso.com/TBB. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll also be sending out the replay by tomorrow. So you can look for that in your email as well. Hope you guys have a great day.